Higgins, 82, heck of a player. He really coming off a big week last week against Tulsa. Hansley, very good player and a return man. We got to know him last year. I think Grayson is really an underrated quarterback. He doesn't get a ton of attention, but he takes care of the football. Is very efficient, and when they take shots down the field, he's accurate way down the field. They have some inexperience in their offensive line, but they play collectively better as a unit than they are as individuals. Sambralo, the tackle, has obviously made a ton of starts, but across the rest of the front, I don't know if there's another guy in double digits in starts. Defensively, athletic, very good front. Kowalik, Jackson, King up front, all good players. The guy that impresses me the most is 31, Corey James. If you look at the end of the Boston College game, when they've taken the lead and BC needs to go down the field to try and tie it, James single-handedly destroys the last drive of the game for Boston College. They list him as an outside linebacker, but when they get into sub and want to rush the passer, he's going to be up in the front, and he's a mismatch. He's a hell of a rusher. Aaron Davis, the little linebacker, I think is a really good player. Morgan, the Mike linebacker, is a good player. He's been battling a thumb injury. You can see a big cast on his hand. We have our work cut out for us. We are a little dinged up right now. We probably have 5 or 6 guys that will not practice today. That being said, I anticipate everybody will be up for the game. We're just going to have to be careful with some guys early here in the week. The flu bug, that is, we got guys on the team that can't afford to lose weight that have a flu bug right now. And, a flu bug probably wouldn't be the worst thing for me, as I've been, polishing donuts off as the scouts come in. The one guy that could use a gastrointestinal issue can't have one, and we have all these players that are struggling with it right now. But as Coach Hoffer said this morning in the staff meeting, we're at the halfway pole in terms of football if you count the 3 weeks of training camp leading up to the season. We're about at the halfway mark, and everybody in the country is battling the same issues we are. We've got to show our grit right now. We've got to show our mental toughness that we're not going to allow these things to be excuses, and that we're going to find a way. And that will start in earnest this afternoon when the team arrives. So, with that, take any questions.
Do you see any similarities between Colorado State's offense and Boise State's offense?
Yeah, there are some. The amount of, there's misdirection in both, and the shifting and the unbalanced formations and the things like that. Yeah, these two are far more similar than, say, a Washington State would be, where they're going to line up in a formation and go as fast as they can. This is going to be different in that sense. And certainly if you saw the issues that we had last week lining up to all the different formations, that's what they do anyway, but there's nothing to discourage that now. It's up to us to get it fixed.
Grayson was pretty productive last year. Seems like he's off to an even better start this season. From what you've seen, how much has he improved since you saw him last year?
He's not a guy that blows you away with his physical talent. He doesn't run like Hedrick Grant did. He doesn't have the cannon that Carr had, yet he's accurate. He knows the offense. He knows how to run it. He knows exactly where to go with the ball. He knows exactly what to do in all the situations. He's not a tool guy. He's just a really good quarterback for what that's worth. I'm very impressed with him, and probably underrated as people see him in the league.
Seems like it looks at Higgins a lot, especially.
I'd look at Higgins too.
Especially for in the red zone. Is that defensively? Do you have to just try and take him out and dare him to go somewhere else?
Be aware of where Higgins is. He's their most productive receiver, and clearly there's a relationship between he and the quarterback. So yeah, we have to be aware of where he's at.
want to, establish the run, but they're also first in the conference in passing yards per game. Is this the most balanced offense you guys have seen today?
Yeah, probably they and Boise. I mean, in terms of, I think Colorado State is throwing it very well, but not because they're Washington State and come up and line up and shotgun and 4 wides and chuck it all over the yard. They have the most passing yards because they run it effectively, and it sets up gigantic chunk plays and play action pass. I mean, you only have to look at the Tulsa game from the weekend. I mean, you run it 4 or 5 times, the safeties get nosy, and all of a sudden you run play action pass and you throw a shot ball, and the safety 7 yards from the line of scrimmage trying to tackle the back, and the corner's one-on-one, on the post. And because he's been so efficient throwing the deep ball, and they've done a good job of going out and making plays, it's been effective.
Are there some teachable things for the defense with last week and Jai having a couple of those chunk runs, and then, like you said, facing a running style?
Teachable things? There's 100 teachable things. I mean, there's a bunch of things we need to get fixed, and it's going to be a different style of runner this week. I think these guys cut it back more than Jay does. Jay's more at the point of attack, and if Jay gets all the way to the backside, it's because he weaved all the way back there. Whereas these guys will, the ball come out to the front side, they'll see an open seam on the backside, put their foot in the ground and go. But in terms of the mistakes that we made, certainly we have to get them fixed, because if we don't, Colorado State will expose them.
Does it help going forward knowing you guys still control your own destiny when it comes to winning the West Division?
No, I don't think about that. I mean, I don't think about control. We control our own destiny in every game. I mean, it's just about Colorado State. I mean, at the end of that night, we don't find a way to win. I don't look at the schedule and say, boy, now instead of being, 9-3, we're going to. You can't think about it that way. I mean, that's for everybody else to do. I was at a function this summer, and a guy said, well, I got you at 9-3. Well, then why do we need to play the season? I'll take it right now. Sign me up. It's like, we're just focused on this one. That's all.
Can you look at the matchup on the run between Boise and Colorado State and say one's more difficult than the other, or are they just different?
They're just different. They present different challenges. Jai can run you over. D. Harp can make you miss and then run away from everybody on the field. I mean, he was recruited to Alabama for a reason. Coach Saban doesn't make a lot of recruiting mistakes. I don't know what led to his departure from there, nor does it matter, but I just know he's awfully talented and doing a really nice job in their scheme.
You talk about this past weekend, the emergence of some of your younger wide receivers, Demps getting in there and Henderson, some of those younger guys getting kind of their first action.
Well, certainly not Henderson's first action, but Demps is, I thought for a true freshman he did a nice job when he was in there, and now that we have been forced to pull the red shirt off of him, he's going to play. I mean, we were trying to, he was repping in practice all fall. It's not like he was on the scout team. He was running with the second and third unit, but we were just trying as best we could to not be forced to play him in a game. But Hassan's a little bit dinged up, and the reality of it is, we got a long way to go in the season, and we're going to need Wyatt, and we realize that, and so now it's full steam ahead. Go get him ready to go, and I think he'll be fine. And in fact, I think that he might give people a little something different than Hassan does, because I think Wyatt might run a little bit better, on the longer routes than Hassan does. He certainly does not have the size and the go up and get it that Hassan's got right now, but he does run a little bit better, and that might, give us a little different dynamic out there. Not that Wyatt's small. I mean, he's over 6'2", but Hassan's just different because of his size and his ball skills.
Doing something on Matt Lyons this week. Seems like the last couple of weeks, obviously, the tackle numbers have been up there, but he just seems to be kind of in the right place at the right time a lot more. Is that accurate?
I think Matt's playing really well. I mean, Matt last year, played pretty good, but when Matt made a mistake, it was usually a glaring mistake. It was one that was, we weren't even in the right area code. And I think that, another year, maturity, physical maturity, I think he's gotten better. He certainly adjusted. He had trouble adjusting to life back on a 4-year campus when he got here, but he has turned that completely around. We're very pleased with the way he's playing. Everybody can play better. Matt had some bad plays Saturday night, just like everybody else did, but he's playing pretty good. The thing I'm most pleased about is he's not waiting for the action to come to him. He's pulling the trigger and he's tackling people in space, which we need the little linebacker to do. And so his production here in the first 5 games of the season has been a positive for us.
That's what I was going to follow up with, was his kind of open field kind of ability. I think he got a J twice maybe on ankle tackles.
Yeah, a solo on that guy in space is a pretty good play, because that's a very talented runner.
What do you think his strength is, and what do you think he needs to work on the most?
He needs to keep eating. He's one of these guys that no matter how many times you ask him, he always lies and says he weighs 220 pounds. And then, you put him on the scale and you find out that that's not the case. There are things we can always do better. I think Matt's biggest issue is sometimes he just goes too fast. He'll be on the backside of a play and need to tempo down and be there. And if that happened to us the other night. He sees it, he deciphers, and he goes, and he needs to understand where he is in the scheme. Am I on the front side, or am I a cutback player? If he's a cutback player, he needs to show a little bit more patience. But there are things that we can all do better, and overall, we're very pleased with his play right now.
Is it harder for a guy who's transferring coming in as opposed to a guy who maybe redshirted a year?
Oh, absolutely. Anybody who's in the first year in any program who plays right away, it's much better to be redshirted and have a year to learn and get ready. And I think whenever you get thrown into the fire, it's difficult. And I think that was kind of part of his growing pains last year.
I think your media guide has him at 230. What is he really at?
Not 230. I don't know. Mrs. Polian buys a lot of peanut butter and jelly for these boys. Folks at Costco like it when they see her come walking in the room.
I don't think you were especially happy with the second half at Colorado State last year and the energy and the effort.
I think that's a fair statement.
Do you go back to that game as you go to the
game? No, it's not fair. It's not fair. This is a new team. This is a new season. It was interesting. We watched that game on both sides of the ball, and I was watching. We were actually laughing about it on Sunday night. We had Randy Horton playing tight end, who had a bad foot and could barely walk. We had Tyler Houck playing tight end, who had been a converted defensive end. Fred Lavulo was at guard. Jeremy McCauley was playing center. Zach Burkell, who currently weighs 235 pounds, was playing guard. It was just, you remember back to how beat up we were, and I'm looking at it and I'm going, look at this collection. Nigel Westbrooks was out there playing wide out for a while. And, so it's, I can't, reach back to that and make that a source of motivation. This is a new team. This is a completely different team. The character of this team has changed for the better. So I'm certainly not going to go back, reach back into the past and use that as a stick to motivate people with. Really, my message is simply this: we can't change what happened Saturday night, so there's no sense continuing to be upset about it. We can only affect what's right here in the future. We've got some injuries, we've got some guys sick, but we're not going to allow that to be an excuse. And we need to show grit right now. That's what we need to do. We need to show grit. The mental, emotional, physical toughness that you have to show in order to succeed when things are going bad. And obviously, obviously it wasn't great Saturday night the way it ended. So we've got to show some grit.
This is a character game, then?
I believe so. Yeah, I think that's a fair statement. This is how I would describe it. I wouldn't call it a character game. I would call this an opportunity to show that we've matured and developed.
McElwain has some BCS background. Did you guys cross paths at all?
We did not. I think when I was when I went to A&M, he had left Alabama to become the head coach of Colorado State. But again, you know, what I appreciate about Coach Mack and his wife, Mrs. McElwain, is an absolute sweetheart. In our first set of league meetings, he came right to me because you're the new guy and you're trying to figure it all out. And his wife came right to Laura, and they have remained friends and know mutual people in common. I have a ton of respect for Coach McElwain. I think he's a terrific offensive mind, and he is a guy like Bobby Houck that I will call in the offseason to kind of bounce ideas and compare notes and talk about bigger issues, not only in the conference, but in college football in general. I like Coach Mack very much. I'd like to send him home in a bad mood Saturday, but I do like him very much and I have a lot of respect for him.
Do you get a sense that he's building something kind of special at Colorado State that's certainly gotten better each of his?
They're paying him like he is. Yeah, I do. I get a sense that when everybody in the offseason said, boy, they lost their top two backs, how are they going to make this work? And then, you know, they get the transfer in and go get the JUCO guy, and it doesn't seem like they've missed a beat. Yeah, I do get the sense that they're building something that's going to last, and I hope that we're in the process of doing the same thing.
That was going to be my follow-up.
He went 4-8 his first season.
Exactly.
Was it 7-5 or 6-6 or something like that? I am not ashamed to say that I see a lot of similarities in the way the thing is being developed and built, and I hope that it goes along the same track. There's nothing wrong with saying that.
The last 5 meetings between these teams, the home team has won by an average of like 23, 24 points. Is there any way to explain that?
Nope, but sign me up. No, I don't know. I mean, I can't reference back to things that happened before I arrived here. I know that we not have a 1-point lead at the half last year at their place, and then played awful in the second half. I mean, I would hope that in our development as a team, and I think we've shown that you know, we are sustaining and fighting and doing a better job of playing 2 halves of football than we did a year ago. You know, obviously 2 times we didn't finish it, but I think we've shown that we have competed. You know, in 5 games we've competed for all 60 minutes. We've won 3 of them. 2 of them we had a chance in the last possession to either tie it or win it. We didn't get it done, but it's certainly, we have shown a development from where we were a year ago in games like Boise and Colorado State, where we're either leading in the half or right there, and then, you know, we don't finish it. So, but we got to keep making steps forward. We got to find a way to win. We're good.
Anything else for Coach?
Thanks, guys. Have a good week.
What's up, brother? Yep.
Questions for Cody?
Cody, this might be a matchup of 2 of the best, if not better, quarterbacks in the conference. Do you take that as kind of a personal challenge at all?
I think it's more of a personal challenge to see how we respond to a tough loss. Obviously, losing last week is going to be tough. We want to rebound and get a win, obviously. I'm pretty good friends with Garrett. Met him at the Manning camp. He was my roommate. You know, I text him before the Boise game, and we'll feed each other, you know, opponents that we play against, defenses and stuff we've seen on film. So, I consider him one of my friends, and it'll be fun to compete against one of your friends.
Well, I was just going to ask then, is it harder to compete against a friend?
I mean, I think it's a lot more fun, just because you go out there and you got a little bit of bragging rights afterwards, but it's all in good fun.
And obviously, you guys probably can't afford another Mountain West loss and win the West Division. Do you think about that at all?
Not really. Just one game at a time. Coach Polian does a good job of letting the team know, hey, want to know this week. We don't look down the schedule. We just focus on the team that's ahead of us and go out and compete.
What do you think the key is for you guys offensively to put some points up on the board?
Don't turn the ball over, one. That's probably the biggest thing. Second, we did some good things on film. There's a lot of ups and downs on that film, but there were some really good things and obviously some really bad things. So just correct the bad things and continue with the good things, and we'll be all right.
Coming off a rare game where you turned the ball over, I mean, do you feel like you have something to prove or want to show that you can bounce back off adversity?
Adversity has struck. That's one of the hardest things for quarterbacks is obviously adversity, but I'm not going to try and do anything different. I'm confident in my ability. There's been multiple games I've gone without turning the ball over, so I'm not going to go out there and try to do too much because that's when you get in trouble. So I'm just going to go out there, play my game, execute the offensive game plan, and just kind of rally around my guys.
When you review the offensive film, why were you guys able to move the ball so much better in this game as opposed to the San Jose State game?
I think it was just the game plan all week. We kind of spent more time on just focusing on the game plan and kind of finding a true identity, which is one of our strengths versus what Boise State is weak on defense. And I think the coaches did a tremendous job of picking those plays that, hey, these are going to work well in these situations. And obviously the players executed really well in certain aspects.
What does Colorado State do well defensively?
They got a good, consistent four-man rush. Their DBs disguise coverage pretty well. They have an interesting secondary in terms of coverage, and their linebackers fly around it and run to the ball. So obviously they're going to pose some challenges for us, but I'm just excited about the opportunity to get back out there and play against another good defense.
They've given up some rush yards. Is that something you guys have noticed? Anything you think you might be able to take advantage of? Or?
Anytime we can see a weakness and put it to one of our strengths, that's always a good thing. For us, if running the ball to win is what we need to do, that's what we'll need to do. If passing the ball to win is what we need to do, that's what we'll need to do.
Cody, obviously the Mountain West Championship is the ultimate goal. Does knowing that's still within your guys' control help you going forward?
I think it does for sure. Just knowing that we're in the driver's seat still, and we can go as far as we want to take ourselves. Knowing if we win out, obviously we have a good chance of playing Boise again, and that's pretty high on some of the guys' lists, especially the seniors. But we're really excited just to be in the driver's seat and know that we don't need a miracle to happen to make the Mountain West Championship game. We just have to do our job, and we'll hopefully get there.
Cody, can you talk about some of the production from some of the younger receivers, getting some of their first action, Wyatt Dems and Cameron Richardson, getting in there, stepping up and playing well?
Yeah, they stepped up in a huge way in a huge game. It's tough to go out and sell out crowd. Luckily for those guys, it's a home game. Obviously, it's a little bit easier. But they did a tremendous job. Wyatt comes in, runs a good route over the middle, catches the ball for first down. Cameron, really excited for him. I think he got injured on his first play in. But it's nothing serious. He should be back, which is good. But just for those guys to get in and get their feet wet is going to help us throughout the season.
Are you confident in the depth that you guys have at wide receiver?
Yeah, I think our depth's pretty good now. Polian, obviously, depth's his red shirt. He's been doing tremendous things all fall camp, playing pretty well, and he never saw one snap on scout team. He's always down with the offense. And so now he's going to have a chance to get out there and play.
How improved do you think Colorado State is just over the last couple of years?
I think they're one of the top teams in the Mountain West. You can see it last year that they fought all the way to the end. And this year, obviously 4-1. Their record shows that they're going to be a good team. It's going to be a good football game on Saturday. So we're excited just to face another talented team. And obviously Colorado State's up there. So if we want to get our dominance in the Mountain West back, you got to beat a good team like Colorado State.
Coach said you're not really paying attention to last year's game film, but does that kind of stick in the back of your mind that you guys had the lead and it kind of got away from you?
A little bit. We were really dinged up on offense. Offensive line speaking, we had 3 guys, 2 of them who haven't played that position all year, and we had some receivers in there who were a little banged up. But towards the end of the season, not really playing for much, trying to play for a bowl game, but it's a different season, different team. We're a lot more excited this year, and we're ready to get another crack at Colorado State.
Normally ask the defensive guys this. I'm doing something on Matt Lyons. I'm just wondering if you have any funny stories with him in your year and a half with him or so.
Not too many funny stories. He's a great kid. I know he gets a lot of family support. I think at every game he has, he battles with me for who's got more family members at the game. You always see him with his family, which is great. Other than that, guys respect him on the team. I joke around with him a lot about his weight sometimes, because I'm trying to weigh more than him at times and put me at linebacker. But he does a good job for throwing his body around, coming back from an injury, and just laying it all on the line for the defense. And it's pretty inspirational to watch him play.
Since we're on defensive players doing something on the right teammates, does he scare you?
He scared me when I was a freshman, but I've gone against some 350-pounders, 6'5", 6'6" guys. So I consider him one of my friends on the team. I think he scares the redshirt quarterbacks and the true freshman quarterbacks more than anything, just down on scout team. But anytime you see a guy like that coming out of the weight room, all jacked up, all pumped up, you're like, wow, this is college football. And it's pretty fun to see some of the freshman kids' faces when he's benching in the weight room, throwing on tons of 45-pound plates on there and just repping it is pretty awesome.
Is it rare to see athleticism like he has for a guy as large as he is?
I think it's a God-given gift, obviously, and he uses it well. A big guy like that who can move like that is pretty special, and I'm glad he's on our team.
Last 5 games in this series, the home team's 5-0 by a margin of 23, 24 points. Is there any way to explain that? Why the home team's had such an advantage?
I think it's just home field advantage, and I think that's in almost any game. You look at home field advantage and crowd support, and I'm looking for another live Mackay Stadium. I thought our fans did a tremendous job last Saturday of staying with us throughout the game. Obviously, some things didn't go our way at times, but they were there till the end. Very encouraging afterwards. A lot of support from the fan base, and it's really special to see where the fans are going and cheering as hard as they can to help the team out.
Anything else for Cody? Thank you. Thank you.
Go ahead, questions for John.
John, I'll start with Matt Lyons doing something on him this week. What do you like about him, having him back there next to you?
He's a tremendous competitor. I always work with him. And when me and him shared a position at Will last year, he pushed me to be better. And the thing about him this year, he always strives to be great. So that's something I like in all linebackers.
Do you see him much improved? It seems like the last few weeks especially, we've seen him making more open field tackles and just getting in scrums more.
Yeah, he's improved a whole lot more than last year. I mean, everybody goes to the growing pains, but he took it pretty well.
What do you think he's doing better now than that maybe he had to kind of struggle through his first year?
I would have to say details. Coach always talks about the details, and he's paying a lot more attention to the details for this defense.
You got any funny stories about him off the field? It looks like you do.
It sounds like Colorado State runs a bunch of different formations, sometimes even shifting who's snapping the ball. Because how do you not let that screw you guys up when you try to line up against them?
As we look at it, I mean, we play our defense, and with all the shifts and motions, we got something for it. So as we get ready for this game, it's not about how they shift and how they motion, it's about the plays that they're going to run.
When you reviewed the Boise State film, I guess what disappointed you the most about that performance?
Missed tackles. We made Coach said we missed about 18 tackles, and you know when we're running to the ball, you know it's kind of hard to miss those tackles that we did. So this week, we just got to get better with our angles and pursuit to the ball.
It seems like Colorado State can do both things. They almost average 6 yards per run, and they're first in the conference in the passing attack. I guess which of those two assets kind of worries you the most defensively?
I mean, if we stop the run, it makes them one-dimensional. So, I mean, our goal as a defense is to stop the run, to improve from last year, get off the last base. So stopping the run will be first.
Then third down defense against Boise State, you guys struggled in that area. I guess what was the element there?
At times, you know, their coaches had a better plan to attack what our defense was playing. So, I mean, going into this game, we just got to execute our plan to the T, pay attention more to the details.
It's kind of a wake-up call for the defense after you guys have strung together, quite a few good games in a row.
Yeah, it was kind of a wake-up call, but I mean, we got to pick it up as a defense. We got to make sure that we pick up our offense and continue to get the ball back to our offense.
I'm doing some on ranking Yates. I guess what do you see when you watch him play on film?
I just see somebody run to the ball. He reminds me of Warren Savage at Watch. They never give up on the play and they're always pursuing. And as whoever we're playing, they just got to watch out for him because you never know where he's going to be.
It's pretty difficult to find somebody who penetrates from that defensive tackle position. I mean, typically that's you're holding guys up, you're not really making the big play. I mean, he kind of has that special skill to get to the backfield, right?
Yeah, he has a gift. I haven't seen too many people with that gift, but over the last 4 years with Keem, he surprised me because he's pretty big, and I don't see a lot of big people do that, but that's something he can do.
D Hart has that 5-star recruit kind of thing, with him. Do you pay attention to? Is that something that kind of motivates you into maybe trying to stop him even more?
I don't really pay attention to the 5-star. That's just another thing somebody else can talk about. And as we prepare for him, we just got to know how to stop him.
What do you think the key is with Grayson? I mean, do you need to pressure him? Do you need to contain him?
It's going to be a little mixture of pressure, contain, limit his options. The more we take away his options, the less he has to do, and the more our D-line can get after him.
Are you paying any attention at all to the idea that you probably can't afford another Mountain West loss and still get into the championship game?
We're not really paying too much attention. We're taking it one game at a time. So that's all we're focusing on is Colorado State.
Even with the loss, though, does that kind of help your mindset going forward that you guys still control your own destiny, though?
It helps our mind. It makes us work even harder. We didn't want to have that loss in the Mountain West Conference, but at the same time, it's going to push us to be better.
Anything else for John? All right, thank you.
It just stopped when you got it.
Yeah,
I think
we had
Cody
Cody
before that.
Unfortunately, Jordan Hansen couldn't make it, so that's going to wrap it up for today, guys.